Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of You and Your Vet Talk Show. Talk shows where we veterinarians come and talk to you about different aspects of pets and livestock. My name is Dr. Clara and I am your host. Today I have with me our guest speaker and she is
Dr. Idowu, Juliana.
Welcome, Doc. And today we're talking about poultry, all things poultry. Our topic today is the Newcastle disease in poultry. I know we have talked about, Lasuta vaccine against Newcastle disease, but most of us don't know what exactly Newcastle is. So that's why we're here today to give you, more exposure on what Newcastle disease is. So, as usual, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section and we will answer you. So let's get right into it. So our first question is, what is exactly Newcastle disease and why is it such a serious concern for farmers?
Okay, thanks for that question, Doc. Newcastle is actually a viral disease that affects poultry, be it your turkey, your chicken, your layers, your broilers.
Anything birds, poultry.
It affects them. It actually affects the digestive, the respiratory, and the nervous systems of these birds. And it is very, very contagious. Like you can have a high rate of mortality in your birds when your birds come down with this viral disease.
So it's a viral disease. Whenever we hear virus, we know that it's something very serious. It's a viral disease and it doesn't just affect one part of their system, it affects the respiratory, digestive, and the nervous system. Anytime I hear anything that is has to nervous, I know that this is a serious deal. And it affects every type of poultry. And it's very contagious. When you hear it is very contagious, it means if you have just one bird that have come down with Newcastle disease, every other bird is going to have it because it's contagious. So that's one of the, I think that's the reason why it is of a particular concern to farmers, because it is very contagious. Okay, thank you, Doc. Okay, so the next question we have is, how does this spread? How does Newcastle even come about, enters into a farm? What happens?
Okay, there are different ways through which your birds can actually come down with this viral disease. One of such means is when you have an infected bird in the pen, and that bird that is actually infected with this disease deposits part of this virus into the food or the water that other non-infected birds are drinking or eating. They will definitely, the non-infected birds, while trying to drink the water or trying to eat from the feeder, they are definitely going to pick part of this virus. And when they pick this virus, they will definitely come down with this disease. Another means through which your birds can have this disease outbreak in your farm is when you allow other farmers from other farms come into your pen. This is because other farmers might have visited a farm that have an outbreak of this particular disease. They might have picked this virus in any part of them, be it on their shoes or in their hands or anywhere. Then when they visit your farm, they will deposit part of that virus into your pen and thereby making your birds to be susceptible to this disease. Another means through which your birds can actually get infected with, can come down with this disease, is when an infected bird comes, probably there's a it has NASA, it's showing signs of the respiratory signs actually, which includes the nasal discharge. So through that nasal discharge, it can deposit some of the virus and a non-infected bird will get it and come down with that disease.
Okay.
So these are the possible means through which your birds can actually come down with the disease.
Okay. So we have understood the different ways Newcastle can get into a farm. The first one is when you have an infected bird that already has, Newcastle disease. When that's what we're not just talk about that there's a form, there's the digestive one. So when they poo, it means that poo is already infected with it. So sometimes you notice that your birds are drinking water when they are eating. You come across that some of their feces or poo is inside the water or drinker. Now, if you now have a bird that is not infected, infected with it that pulls in that water or feed. Another bird that is not infected now comes to drink. That's it. They've gotten infected. And the second way is, formite, when you have this on any part of your person, it's either your shoes or your clothes or your bag or whatever. And she explained that, for example, there's an outbreak of Newcastle in a particular farm, and that farmer now comes from his own farm and enters into your pen with that same outfit, that same boots, that same clothes that he's wearing from the farm that has the outbreak, and comes into your pen that doesn't have that outbreak. It tends to leave some of the droppings on the ground, and our beds, we all go and put them out and everything as another form of infection. Next question is, what are the early signs that you will notice or you should look out for to know that, okay, my beds, they're looking at it, they're coming down with Newcastle disease? What are those signs that you will notice?
Okay, like I said earlier, there are three forms of this disease actually. The first form is the respiratory form, which actually affects the respiratory system. The second form is the digestive form that affects the digestive system. And the last form, which tends to be the most critical and the most chronic part and form, is the nervous form, which affects the nervous system. So from the initial stage, from the acute stage of the disease, the forms you are going to see is the digestive and the respiratory forms. And these signs you are going to see include your birds will start coughing, they'll start having nasal discharge, they can even have ocular discharge inclusive.
That discharge from the eyes and from the nose.
Their breathing will also be affected. Also, the digestive form will also manifest, and these signs include you start observing your birds having greenish diarrhea. If it's in layers, production is going to drop massively. Take, for example, your birds are laying up to 100 crates in a day. If they are actually down with Newcastle disease, the production is going to drop to about 50 or 80%, whatever. But if they are actually layers, production is going to drop, and you start noticing small sized and shellless egg, more of shellless egg and small sized
eggs. So we have talked about the respiratory acute stage.
So moving to the chronic stage, the signs you're going to see is when your bird starts having torticollis. There's something called torticollis. It means twisting of the neck of your bird. This happens because it has gotten to the chronic stage, and the nervous parts, the nerves of your birds have been affected. It will also lead to paralysis and sudden death. So when the Newcastle has actually gotten to the chronic stage, you notice more of weakness. Your birds will be very, very recumbent because they are actually paralyzed. They cannot stand up. They can't eat well. Eventually, they'll die, and mortality is going to increase massively.
Oh, wow. So signs you will notice, we have respiratory signs, we have the digestive signs, and we have the nervous signs. And she divided it into two: acute and chronic. Acute signs is more of the respiratory signs that you'll be seeing. They'll be coughing, they'll be having nasal discharge. That is, you'll be seeing droppings, like they'll be having discharge from their nose, and sometimes you can also see ocular discharge. That's discharges from their eyes. Then you can move to the digestive signs, where you'll be seeing that they'll be having greenish diarrhea. Most people be like one year green, 1 year green. It means that your chicken is coming down with Newcastle disease. Then when you are going into the chronic phase, and it's also mentioned that in layers, their egg production will drop, or they'll be having one or two issues with their eggs. They may be shellless, they may be small, different issues. Then when you start getting to the chronic stage, you know that this is late stage of Newcastle. They're going to be having nervous signs, where they'll be having torticollis. You say the one long, I think the neck will be twisting. Then before you know, paralysis sets in. They'll be able to move, and when they can't move, they can't eat, they can't drink. Sometimes they will almost stop eating and drinking from the beginning, and before you know, you have sudden deaths. And remember, this is contagious. When you are seeing that one bird is doing, so 2, 3, 4, 5, so the entire flock is going to be down. So wow. Okay, so our next question now is, how can farmers prevent this? Because we have seen that it is a disease of particular concern. So how can farmers, prevent Newcastle on their farms?
I would say the best means to prevent the outbreak of Newcastle in your farm is strictly by vaccinating your birds.
Vaccination.
Vaccination, irrespective of the number of the stock of birds you have to vaccinate your birds against Newcastle using Lasota vaccine. Vaccination is very, very important because it provides antibodies that will fight against that particular virus when your birds eventually have or come in contact with that virus. That is one method through which we can actually prevent the outbreak of Newcastle in our farm. Another method that we can use to prevent the outbreak of Newcastle in our farms include adhering strictly to biosecurity measures. Adhering strictly to biosecurity measures. Biosecurity measures such as 1. Restrict the number of people who come into your farm or enter into your pen, because we do not know which other farms they've gone to. We do not know what kind of diseases their birds are having back in their farms. We have no idea if they disinfect their pen or if they disinfected themselves before leaving their farm. So it is very, very important you limit the number of people that comes into your pen or comes into your farm. And if at all you want to receive visitors or receive people into your farm, you should make provision for disinfectants. So they should always disinfect themselves before entering into the pen and even after they have entered into your pen. It is very, very important you provide disinfectants for this. Another method through which we can use to reduce the outbreak of disease is through let's practice all in, all out system of farming. What this means is if you stock birds from day old, they get to week 18, they get to whatever week you actually want to achieve, and dispose them. Do not stock two birds with different age
At the same
time in the same pen. It is not wise. Professionally, it is not advisable you do this. This is because if you stock birds with different age, take for example, you stock birds that are younger and older birds, because the younger birds' immune system are not well developed
as the older
ones. They cannot fight any disease when that comes their way. But the older ones they build enough immunity that they can fight whatever disease comes their way. So stopping these two sets, these different ages of bird, can affect the younger ones. When there's an outbreak of any disease, the younger ones are more susceptible. So you do not stock two sets of birds with different age. Allow one set of bird to live before stocking a new set.
Thank you very much.
Part of the biosecurity measures also include use of PPE. That is your personal protective equipment, which include the use of boots, the use of hand glove, the use of raincoat or jogari or socks whenever you want to enter into your pen. So with all of these biosecurity measures, it is possible to reduce the rate of outbreak and prevent outbreak of Newcastle in your farm.
Thank you very much. So prevention, we have heard, is always better than cure. So, and the best prevention for this Newcastle disease is vaccination. We have spoken about vaccination. It's not like it's sweet in our mouth, it's just the best thing to do. To vaccinate your birds against Newcastle at the exact time. We have schedules. I've said it over and over again. There are different schedules by different farmers, different veterinary institutions, different clinics, different hospitals. So just pick one vet or pick one that you know that you can follow. And at the right time for Newcastle disease vaccination, vaccinate them. That's one of the most important ways to prevent this outbreak of Newcastle in your farm. Another we will talk about is the biosecurity measures. If you have a farm, Kini, Mr. Tajudeen Walu farm, only poultry, no, only do your own by yourself. You know that it's only me that's coming into my farm. Okay, only me and Mubarak that's coming to my farm. And when they're coming to your farm, you have your own specific footwear that you are using to go inside. I remember what we used to do when I was working in the pen is that we had a footwear that stays inside the pen. When we are going in, we just go in with our Lego. Then we just bring out the footwear that is already inside and put on the ground. And my wallet, we do what we want to do. Then we put back the footwear and we come outside back. Each person was to a pen. You are not entering another person's pen. They can buy a share. Thank you very much. You don't go into the pen because you don't know what other pen is harboring. Most times they are incubating stage that you won't even know that your birds have them. As she said, some older birds may be incubating it, but it does not show symptoms. Then you that is working in the older bed, more Newcastle, they can more need to come. She wants you that they can buy me kicking for one me. More lossy party for one by 4 p.m. Then now when I enter your pen, I'm gonna give them omimu. Then 2-3 days time, you are seeing results. And I'm like, but your best are not showing anything. That's because it's not incubating. So to avoid stories that touches the heart, you and your pen, or you and somebody and your pen. You know that person, you know, money 4 weeks old boiler, they can worry, but show to be. You can watch from outside, they should not enter. But if they must enter, Egbon Mimi is my friend, and my Aburo must see my bed, then you must make sure that you have disinfectant on ground. You must have foot deep on ground. It's not just one fee, I say, what's in the can't wash it. It's very important too. It's not just water, it is disinfectant and water. So that as you are dipping your footwear inside it, it is getting disinfected. So that when you are walking in, you're not taking anything from outside into the pen. And when they are coming into, they are putting their leg too. You're not taking anything from the pen outside. It's very, very important. Because if not, it's money. Poultry is a lot of money. So you don't have to, at the end of the day, you don't now get, Jerry, from what you have done. So the next question now, and the last one is, so if a farmer is not seeing this, for example, respiratory signs, what in Woko, they are sneezing, I'm seeing Newcastle, what should the farmer immediately do? Because he cannot start doing vaccine again, because we know that we do not vaccinate sick birds. We are seeing that it's already happening. And the disinfectant, it's already going on. What can the farmer now do at this point?
At this point, if you've started noticing these signs that we've mentioned before, the first line of action you should carry out is to isolate those ones that you've seen. Those ones you've seen that are coughing, those birds you've seen that are sneezing, those birds you've seen that are passing out greenish feces. Isolate them immediately. You don't even need to you don't need to allow them to get to that chronic stage of being paralyzed or being very recumbent or weak before you isolate them, because you've already started seeing the early signs. Isolate them immediately before they infect the whole stock. Yeah, so that's the first line of action. After you might have isolated the sick birds that you've noticed, what you do next is to call your veterinarian, call the attention of your veterinarian to come and observe the other stock that are still not manifesting the signs yet. So when your veterinarians come, they will observe the birds, they will observe if actually these birds, the signs they are showing is actually Newcastle, and they'll tell you what to do. They'll give you directives of what next to do, basically.
Wow, thank you very much. So you have heard though, the battery say, green. What in what in shape back or shabini. The first thing is to do what in 13 isolation means you are removing them from the space that all of them are and putting them in one place so that they don't infect them, and maybe they can go phone and doctor the this is what I'm saying. Then they will now advise you on what to do and come into the farm to see, okay, which one can we salvage, which one can we not salvage, and which drugs to use so that you don't lose all your crops. I hope you have gained something from today, because me, I've gained a lot. Even though I'm a doctor and I have still gained something from it. We have known what Newcastle is a viral disease. It affects poultry, it has respiratory, it has digestive signs, and it has the nervous signs. And it is very contagious. And we have learned that how the signs you are going to see is that it will be sneezing, coughing, nasal discharge, ocular discharge. Sometimes now lead to watery diarrhea, which is mostly greenish most times. Then when they get to the nervous signs, you start having them twisting their neck, start having them, they cannot move, they cannot get up, so they'll start dying. Then we have learned that how do they spread? If one is infected and that one, oh Lord, you're getting no me, you're getting no and another one that's not infected, go and drink or eat what they have gotten it. Or if another farmer that has a pen that is infected, while was in the pen in what it buy again, they have gotten it again. So we learned about how to prevent it, vaccination. The first one is vaccination. Second one, biosecurity measures. Make sure that you have your proper equipment. You are the only person using this boot in this place. The only person using this dongari in this place. No other person is borrowing your things. You are keeping your pen clean. You are removing your sawdust every 2-3 days. You are washing your drinkers and your feeders well. You are making sure that everything around you is clean. That's another way of prevention. Then if you notice that, oh, this is happening in my pen, first of all, remove the ones that you are seeing showing signs away from the entire flock and call your veterinarian immediately. So I hope you have learned something. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We'll see you same time, same day next week. Bye-bye.